The last election, the last Nigerian election, the presidential election, was an eye opener. What I saw at the election was mind blowing. I never expected in my wildest dream that Nigeria in 2023 will be talking about the most corrupt election that has ever existed. An election that was organized by the top academic professors of the country. Yet, the election turned out to be the most corrupt and the most rigged election in Nigeria history. We had videos. There were videos everywhere. I don't understand how INEC could come to us and tell us, oh, they had problems with the beavers. A system, an electronic system you built before the election took place. Let me throw a little light about the beavers. You said you built a server and then you had the beavers. The beavers is the electronic device that you use to capture this information online and store this information on the servers. Now, the excuse you gave, you said during Obama's time, there was a time America was having something that they were doing and people were hitting the system, and this system, because of the number of people hitting the system failed. So you're trying to give us that excuse. Sir, let me explain to you how that works. During the American experience, they didn't know the number of people that will be hitting the system. But the Nigerian election is so different in many ways that the system, you already had record of the registered accredited voters. You had record of the accredited units, the various units where these elections will be taking place. And you built a system. What you're supposed to do is to build a system that has enough compute, build a server that has compute power that will be able to handle these 20-something million people that's registered for this election. So if you have the information up front of the number of people that were registered for this election, and then at the same time, you know the accredited voters, it means you have all the information on hand to build a server with enough compute power that will be able to handle these transactions on the election day. So when you come to me and tell me it failed because too many people, it means it is either two things. It is either you deliberately build, because you have the information at hand before the election, you deliberately build a server that will not be able to accommodate the transaction that will take place on the election day, or you deliberately turn off the system so that they will not be able to capture this information, or you didn't build enough servers that will be able to handle this election. Now, in the first place, why, if let's say, okay, you want to justify you building a private server. We have a public server that you could have used that has this auto scaling that could have been able to scale when there is many people hitting the servers. That would have been far cheaper rather than building a private server. Let's say, okay, for security purpose, you decide to build a private server, which costs like 5 times more price than using a public server. Now, after building the private server, which you had the accredited voters at hand, yet you built a server that could not handle the transactions that would take place at the election day. There were irregularities everywhere. Dino Melaye, I watched on television where Dino Melaye was accusing the INEC chairman, telling him these irregularities happened during the election. What I expect was from somebody who had a genuine mind to organize a free and fair election would have said, okay, since you said these irregularities happen in this polling unit, we're going to take a look and then see what we can do. You never said anything. You acted like you didn't even hear what Senator Dino Melaye was saying. It means that only tells one thing. It means you've already made up your mind that regardless of what people say, that you're satisfied with the election. Sir, This election is not about you, your satisfaction. This election is about Nigeria. History will speak about you. How you, an academic professor, organized the most rigged and the most corrupt election that ever existed in Nigeria. I don't know how you people sleep at night. Where a bunch of academic professors organize an election that is regarded as the worst election in Nigerian history. In this 2023, I never thought something like this could happen. This is a shocker to me. Because what I saw was really heartbreaking and disgraceful.